Okay, again, for those who are just joining us, please make sure you turn off your cell phones. The satellite coordinates, SES2, transponder K21A and B. I will call on you and we'll bring a microphone over to you. Coach, before we start with questions, can we get a brief statement on what happened out there tonight?
You know, in 1987, an improbable team went to a Final Four with Billy Donovan. And everybody always says, looking back on it, was the two most fun years of your life? And I said, what I learned and took away from those moments was I learned to dream for the rest of my life. And I thought everything was possible. And Anton and I had an interesting conversation the other day. I called him up, I was working out, and I said, son, you're mentally in a funk. And it's nothing you're doing wrong because you're playing behind Terry Rozier, who's an unbelievable player. I said, but in '87, we had to beat Georgetown and Alabama in the Sweet 16, Georgetown in the Elite Eight. And I said, a young man named Darrell Wright was like the seventh, eighth man on the team, wasn't playing particularly well, and he was a little bit in a mental funk. He went out and gave us an unbelievable lift and was the MVP of the region coming off the bench. I said, you're going to get your opportunity, son. And tonight I was going to put Shaquan in, and I just thought about that. And he went in there and basically won the game for us with his two big plays. So I'm real happy for him when a guy doesn't get his minutes and doesn't get a lot of playing time and still shows a great attitude. For him to have this moment is awesome. And the young man to my left, Montrezl Harrell, I don't know how much more I can say about him because he's just the toughest guy I've ever coached, and he never lets me down.
Thank you, Coach. We will take questions for the student athletes first. As a reminder, if you could please direct your questions to a specific student athlete. Right here in front on the aisle, we'll start with.
Adam Zagoria, SMY. Anton, just following up on what Coach said there, can you just talk about your mentality? I mean, you scored 5 points in a row there, the drive, the three-pointer, and you had 7 of 9 points. What caused you to take over the game there, and why did it happen at that moment and not before that?
I just saw I had an opportunity. We worked hard, we really worked hard all season, and I didn't want to go home. So, whatever minutes I got, I just wanted to try to make something happen.
Right behind him.
Anton, Luke DeCock, Raleigh News and Observer. Just curious for you, to do this against NC State on this stage. I mean, what does that mean to you?
It's kind of weird. I didn't really realize, we were playing NC State, my hometown team, until somebody asked me about it yesterday, because we've been so focused on just what we need to do as a team. But, it's funny how things work, and, I'm just blessed to be in this opportunity.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, right here on the side.
Hey, Anton, can you just go back to your kind of recruitment process? How involved was NC State and how it played out?
If I remember, they were one of my first offers. I had a really good relationship with Coach Godfrey and Coach Early. And, they were definitely one of the schools that I got down to who was here, NC State and a couple others. So, they were around. I didn't even know they took Trevor. I just committed here. I felt good with it, and it was working out for me.
Right here.
Whitney Harding, WHAS. Montrez, how great has it been to see guys like Anton, first Q, stepping up, and now Anton, these young guys helping you guys get where you want to go?
It's a great feeling. Being around these guys, I've learned so much about them, over the season. We took our bumps and our bruises throughout the whole season, but we came together at the right time. Everything just gelled at the right time, So I feel like when Coach makes a substitution and he puts anybody on the floor, I know they're going to give us everything that they got because we worked so hard all year long, took the ups and the downs throughout the season, and, we gel and don't want to go home. Everybody's bought into the mentality that Coach wants, and everybody's going for the same goal, So whoever Coach subs in at whatever point in time, I know that they're going to play 110% every time they're on the floor.
In the back on the side here.
Mike Waters, Syracuse Media Group. Montrez, Terry Rozier had twice as many rebounds as you. Has he already told you about that? Do you think you're going to be able to live this one down?
It actually plays out great for me. It helps out a lot, when your guard can come down and come up with 14 rebounds. it's plenty of times where I've been the leading rebounder, you know, but Terry came in and he switched it up tonight. You know, he wasn't just attacking the basket and scoring. You know, he switched it up and was helping the bigs rebounding because he know that with this team, NC State shot a lot of three-pointers and they were going to be long rebound, and he knew that we needed the rebound from the guard spot. So when the game first tipped off, I think Terry ended up with the first 3 rebounds. You know, he mixed it up tonight, and that's what we needed from him. And if he's probably going to let me live it down, I doubt it.
Right here on the side.
This is for either of you guys. Mark Gottfried was saying how Cat Barber was violently ill last night. You guys saw him at his best earlier this year. What did you notice in his game tonight? Did you think he was a little flat or maybe hampered by that?
Montrez, you want to go first?
Well, we didn't know anything about him being ill, but we know yesterday he was telling the press that if he was other teams that he wouldn't press us. So, I mean, obviously he was feeling good yesterday, and we weren't worried about that. You know, we were worried about things that happen in between the lines and what we can control. If he was out there on the floor, he was good enough to play the game. So when he was out there on the floor, we made sure that we gave him everything that he could handle. And we wanted to stick to our game plan, execute our game plan, make sure we came out with a win.
Okay, we'll let you guys go. Thanks for coming in. Congratulations.
Senior week.
Questions for Coach Pitino? Way in the back in the corner there.
Rick, you mentioned that Providence team. It's 28 years later. What is it about coaching that keeps you motivated at this stage? You could have gone away a long time ago, been with your horses, relaxed. But what is it that you still love about it?
Well, I think because of the horses, I have to work until 80. You know what? I think it's this time of year, John. I just think I just love the pageantry, the passion of this time of year. The stories like Anton Gill and Darryl Wright that I told. And, you know, Terry Rozier was very sick. He had a terrible cold. He's spraying Afrin to try and breathe. And, you know, I always listened so much to UB Brown because I was like a kid in a candy shop when I was the Nick assistant. And I said, UB, this guy Fat Lever is the best rebounder in the Denver Nuggets. And he said, kid, if you can ever find a guard that can rebound, you got a valuable asset. And all season long, Rozier has been a great rebounder. Tonight he has 14. So I guess the surprise of March Madness has always, I look so forward to this time of year. You know, watch every game. Everything's so exciting. And it's built. Every year I've been in the business, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger because it's been more publicized. But I don't really know what I would do without it. You know, I really don't. I see so many coaches tell me, don't leave. Don't think about leaving. He said, especially you. He said, you'll miss it so much. And I keep listening to people when they say that. You know, UB just keeps telling me, you know, like, I was with him. I really learned a lot from Jim Boeheim my 2 years here because I knew nothing about zones and attacking zones as well as playing zones. And then with UB, I felt every single night I came away with 2 or 3 different things I've learned. And I have 2 regrets in my life from a coaching standpoint, that I only spent 2 years with him, and I only spent 2 years in Providence. And UB told me, I went to him in Providence and said, UB, I watched Providence play. They lost by 30 at Georgetown, and since the inception of the Big East, they've been in dead last place or tied with Seton Hall. I said, so I'm not going to go. Dick McGuire and Fuzzy Levain told me not to go. He said to me 2 weeks later, he said, kid, can you still get the Providence job? I said, why? He said, Bernard just had an ACL. We're not going to win anymore. Take the Providence job, kid, and protect your family. I never forget that, and sure enough, they won 23, 24 games, and I left and came back as the Knick coach.
Right here in the aisle.
Hey, Rick, I'm going to try to squeeze in 2 questions. You said you chose to put Anton in there over Shaquan. Can you expand on what made you make that decision and when you did? And also, Coach Gottfried said you guys are better without Chris Jones. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't want to comment on that, but I'll comment on the first one. We're different with Quentin because the kid played 37 minutes without a turnover, which is kind of unbelievable. We had 15 assists and 5 turnovers. Regarding the first question was Shaquan. Anton doesn't play 3 much in practice. But the other day when we had that talk together, you know, some guys would just give you lip service. He said, I got you, coach, and I'll be ready. And most kids don't react that way. So when it was time, his reaction to my story was the reason I went with him at the 3.
Right here in the back on the side.
Mike Waters, Syracuse Media Group. Rick, you mentioned that 87 Providence team, I think partly to tell the story about Anton and Darryl Wright. But does this team start to feel a little bit like 87?
No, because this is a talented team. And I don't mean to say that wasn't a talented team. That was just the biggest surprise of my life. Because that team, we win at the buzzer at home against Georgetown. And John Thompson gets really upset at me, and I stood there at half court at his navel, ready to go at it with him, because we made a shot at the buzzer. And I was so afraid to shake his hand, I went down and he said, listen, I'm sorry for inciting all that. My team was flat, and I just needed to get my team going. And as he put his arm around me, he said, well, we're going to kick the S out of you when you come to Georgetown. And we lost by 30, and then in the Big East tournament, 32. And who do we have to face in Louisville, Kentucky, to go to a Final Four, Georgetown? So that was just a magical group of guys that I haven't seen the likes of in my lifetime. And like I said earlier, it just taught me how to dream. I always learned, when I left Providence College, I thought anything was possible because of that basketball team.
Right here in the middle.
Coach, Adesina Koike, the News Hub, first of all, congratulations. Earlier this season at ACC Media Days, you talked about the group of freshmen that you had, and I guess the immaturity that they had and how they needed to get stronger in the weight room to contribute to this team. Specifically with Quentin Snyder, what's been the biggest difference between October and November, where he was part of a group of freshmen that I guess weren't ready to contribute for your team, and right now?
Well, he wasn't contributing that much because I didn't use him because of Chris Jones, but what we felt was he was getting beat defensively every day, and we felt if he could take off 6 or 8 pounds, it would really help his game. We did it to Andre McGee, and he lost about 7, 8 pounds. He was like, actually almost 10 pounds. He was like 182, and now he's like 173, and it really helped his quickness. And he just got an opportunity, and to play 37 minutes without a turnover tonight against the likes, and for Terry Rozier to be sick and have 14 rebounds. So the freshmen are just, this is a very good class. They're just weak physically. Like Anis is going to be a terrific player. Jalen Johnson's going to be great in my opinion. Mats is going to be terrific. Shaquan's got to they just got to mature physically.
Anything else for Coach? Way in the back, you got a question?
I think Anton Gill making that shot was big. And I think we made some great plays down the stretch. And what we just kept talking about is being aggressive offensively. We kept reminding them of the LSU game where they were down 12 and they would come back. I said, just stay aggressive. You know, we shot, and we kept talking about, we were playing great defense, executing offense, but we kept giving up the 3. And let's face it, they're a great three-point shooting team because they're deep, they can make challenged ones. And I just said, look, guys, do not fall into the trap of trying to match them from the three-point line. Paint touch, low post deliver. Do not try to become something you're not. And they executed beautifully.
Right here in front.
Josh Newman, Asbury Park Press. You've been in this building before. Is this a difficult atmosphere to play in, especially now? It's kind of a neutral site, not a Syracuse-heavy crowd.
It's a lot easier to play at Syracuse. But all domes, if you can win, domes are a great experience for you. I think what we're learning right now, ever since we went to paint touches and low post offense and ball movement, that we're going to be a very good offensive basketball team. In the beginning, we were trying to prove people wrong that we're an outstanding shooting team. And let's face it, we know we're not. We know we can score by doing the things that'll get us good shots. So we stopped taking challenge shots. We created more paint touches. We went to Montrezl Harrell. He's a willing passer. Montrezl threw a great pass to Mango backdoor. So we're just executing much better because we're not trying to prove people wrong. We're just trying to do what we think is right.
Coach, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.